I'm Doc,
And I'm TJ.
and we are so excited to have you as our viewing audience on The Good News. Today we're going to get right into our subject. Today is Boss Day.
Yes, it is.
How many of you really like your boss?
I am happy to be able to report that I really do. And I've always had the situations where I always have really competent people. I think that's a key for me in liking who I work with and for.
You know, I haven't always had good bosses, but I can really say currently I have some fantastic bosses. You know, not only are they good bosses, but they're good people. And sometimes it's hard to find somebody who's both. And what's so amazing to me, you know the old phrase, good Christian bosses? I have some good Christian bosses.
Yes, that does make a difference.
Yeah.
When you think about the amount of work, you know, I hear you all the time say that so-and-so isn't with us anymore, so-and-so got promoted, and I never hear about new people coming. So I think we, at all positions, are being stretched a whole lot thinner than normally. And I think it helps when you have somebody and an atmosphere where you don't mind going in to do the work. It helps make everything happen a little smoother.
A lot of people like to think a good boss is the boss that lets you get away with everything. And that's not necessarily a good boss. It's good to have those qualities and we want those, but that's not necessarily a good boss. You know, to me, a good boss is one who understands effective leadership skills. And, you know, there are times I see some bosses exemplifying what John Maxwell, one of my favorite writers on leadership, discusses about catching people doing some good.
That's it.
Catching people doing good.
I think it makes a difference. And again, when we've talked about this before, your leadership style and your management style, working with people that you can tell actually value people, that they value your opinion, whether or not they ever take any of your suggestions, that you're heard and you're allowed to voice your input.
I know some of us in viewing land might have some horrible bosses, but I like to say that no matter what kind of boss you have, there's some good in all of them. We just have to sometimes dig deep for it, but I'm very fortunate and I thank God for having some good bosses. And I've had some good bosses throughout my career. And even as pastor of a church, I'm considered the pastor, but to a certain degree, I'm the boss at the church.
You are.
I don't like the title boss at the church, but I understand that is my role. And hopefully, I lead at church just as well as I lead in family and I lead in other areas of life where I'm counted on to be a leader.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because when you think about the term boss, it's not very endearing. And so when you think about this day, a lot like what used to be Secretary's Day and now Administrative Professionals Day, and those days where we want to take the time out to recognize people in those roles, that we would select that term. When it's not very flattering, nobody wants to be called the boss, it has a negative connotation. So I wish it was like Leader Day or something that we could really grab a hold to and
More affirming and more tender.
And those are the kind of people that you want to celebrate.
Yeah.
When you think about a boss and being bossed around, that doesn't help me want to buy you a cake.
And you know, bosses deserve to be celebrated. And usually, if you celebrate your boss will remember to celebrate you in turn.
Yeah. And I think it helps the atmosphere. I think it should be a time for reflection on the things that you've accomplished over the year, things that can be better. I mean, in a relationship and employee-boss relationship, it is a relationship. There has to be some communication. What better time to say, you know, I think we should probably do this than over a slice of cake and some coffee in the break room.
It's something about having cake and donuts and coffee that just make the whole work environment brighten and delighting.
I think we've all seen some structures that just weren't very useful, where you have 8 people telling you the same thing, or you getting a memo 5 times and having to do a report that nobody even knows where the report goes or why we're even generating it. And I think we've gotten a lot better with that, I think, with technology.
I think so, and I think what's interesting, we all have stories about bosses. And you know, a lot of times we think our bosses don't do any work or they don't do anything. But a lot of time, your boss is the one that keep you with your job. Because when opportunity comes and they want to lay off or they want to get rid of people, usually it's your boss who stand up for you, and you might not ever find out about it or ever know it. So, I'm thankful for boss.
I think we have time for our picks for the week.
Okay. Well, first let me say, last week I went 5-0.
I was gonna just breeze right over that.
Perfect
But of
record last
course,
week.
you're gonna say you're undefeated this week.
Yes.
Okay.
So this week I have the Jets in an upset over the New England Patriots. That's the New York Jets in an upset over the New England Patriots.
Okay.
I have the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Houston Texans. The Denver Broncos beating the Indianapolis Colts. The Tennessee Titans over the San Francisco 49ers, which is another upset pick.
Okay.
And the Green Bay Packers over the Cleveland Browns. Now, I must say something. As a football fan, it hasn't been the greatest year for me as an Atlanta Falcon fan. But as a true Atlanta Falcon fan, we must stick together when we win and we stick together when we lose. And I was reading a post from someone on my Facebook page, and he had the funniest joke. He said, when he died at his funeral, he wanted the Atlanta Falcons to be his pallbearers because he wanted to be let down one last time. I didn't like that, but I did like it. Yes.
I am so grateful and thankful for each of you that have tuned in once again for the good news. I want to invite you to comment and subscribe, and also to follow us on Twitter at The Good News YT, and on G+ at The Good News YT. And we will continue bringing you more good news. For all of you out there that have a team that you're leading or individuals that you're supervising, happy Bosses Day.
So until the next time,
Good day and good night.